The other day on the radio, they asked a very nice question, which I think I should handle first. And the question was, what is the difference between other sects and Sahaja? It's a very good question because it gives you a relative idea as to what is reality and what is not. First of all, we should see what is the need of Sahaja. Sahaja, as you know, is Saha means with, Ja means born. Is born with you, means is spontaneous. It is with you. What is with you is the right to be united with the divine. That is, to be in yoga, to be united with God. Now, there are people who just don't believe in God either. It's quite possible. They are frightened to hear the name of God because of various experiences they have had, the various ideologies that have prevailed. But God exists, no doubt, whether you like it or not. But unless and until you have felt the existence of God, to believe in God is difficult. One can understand that. Now, what is Sahaja Yoga? In Sahaja Yoga, what actually happens to a personality is this, that the sleeping power, or we can say unawakened power within you, which is your germinating power, arises, passes through the various subtle centers within you and pierces through this fontanelle area, and what we call it as a baptism, as a blessing or the grace of the Holy Ghost, you get your realization. It's a happening. It's actualization. It is living. It is living. It is the blessing of the living God, not of an artificial one. Like anybody calling you, say, all right, let me baptize you, and just puts their hand on the head. It may not be baptism at all, because how can he? Because he has not raised your kundalini. Like any seed, supposing we have, and the seed, we say that this seed is living. All right, how do you prove it? Unless and until you germinate it, how can you prove that it's a living thing? So the germination has to take place. Unless and until that happens, how can people believe in anything, whatever you may call it? So this rebirth has to take place, as everybody has told. Now we need not sort of deny all that, defy all that, but we can keep ourselves open to understand what is the thing they are talking about. Now why? What is the need? What is the need for a person to get his realization? That's the main thing. First of all, people have said you are the spirit. All right, we may be. So why? What is the need to be the spirit? We are all right as human beings, as flesh, everything. What is the need to be realized? And once you understand the need, then you'll understand what is Sahaja Yoga and what our other sects are. The need is this, that you are a part and parcel of the whole. Like a big primordial being you can think of, and he has many cells, and you are one of the cells. But you are not aware of it. You are not yet collective. Now the difference between collective and a mass system is different. In a mass system, you can hypnotize complete mass. They'll start dancing, jumping, screaming, shouting. You can do what you like to masses. If the masses are of a weak-minded thing, you can ask them to commit suicide. You can tell them anything they will do if you just want to use the mass media. Like they become hysteric. Actually, it is a special thing within us which makes you mimic others. Is a very ancient thing within us, very, very ancient. That we were, as animals, we used to do that. See, you have seen birds. Have you ever seen the birds like cranes flying out? They always go in a triangular way. And as the leader turns, all the rest of them follow it very automatically. So that's this instinct we had to follow others, you see, to copy others. That's a very deep training to our being, that we try to follow others. And that's why what happens, we see some people going somewhere, so we think, we should also do the same thing. It's that competition between us. See, this competitiveness has also come from the same seed within us of copying others. You see, we try to copy others. Like clubbing now, we have a club, say, club of people who dress up like white suits and things, then there are clubs with the certain type of dress, or you can find, as I last time told you, yards and yards of black suitings, you see walking in elite societies. It's just clubbing, you just want to club it together, put it together. Then uniforms are there, and then you have to wear the uniforms, and you sort of feel that you are a part of the mass. It's a part of the mass now. Again, this is a mass thing. But Sahaja Yoga is a collective thing. People talk of collectivity. All of them talk of collectivity. But it is only rational. It is artificial. For example, a husband and wife must live together happily. Now the reason for that they give is that if they don't live happily, this will happen to children, that will happen to children, that will happen, and that it may be that it won't be good for both of them. So we reason it out, go to a point, a rational point, we call it a logical point, where we say, all right, we should not give up the relationship between husband and wife. But supposing husband and wife get realized, then what happens? They become aware of their duty as parents, aware. Awareness is a very different thing from just be in mass. Like husband-wife feel that, you see, marriage, it's not thinking, but you just feel it within yourself, not as a feeling of emotional style, but actually it becomes your being. For example, after realization, you start feeling the cool breeze in the hand. But supposing the husband-wife are trying to deceive each other, immediately the vibrations will go away. They'll feel no cool breeze. It's finished. They cannot proceed more further with it. Supposing a person has bad habits, say some dirty habits he has developed in his childhood and is continuing with it. After realization, if he starts indulging into it, immediately he'll find he's feeling uneasy and his vibrations are lost. He becomes aware, means on his central nervous system he can feel the bad effects of what we call as bad. He feels burning, he feels different centers are in trouble. I mean, he can feel it just like as you can feel it hot and cold on your fingers. So when you become aware, then real collectivity can come. It is not a rational thing to say, oh, we are interdependent and we have to help each other. We must do this in a way that nobody should be harmed, that we should not be harmed, and all this rationality is not needed. For supposing tomorrow, if somebody tries to put a pin through, immediately the another hand will go there and hit the person and this hand will go back. All the body will react automatically. The whole body will react to aggression on one side or any kind of problem. But it is aware. It is not doing with rationality, it is spontaneous. There is no question of anybody thinking about it, but it happens spontaneously. So to preserve ourselves, to preserve our body, mind, everything is a disintegrated action before realization. For example, before realization, the brain will say, all right, you do like this. But the heart will say no. For example, supposing a man falls in love with a married woman. So the heart says, oh, carry on, she's a nice lady. Brain says, no, it's not proper. It's disturbing her family life is not a good thing. The dharma, the religion part in the stomach, which is also a reality. It is not the dharma we talk of in the church or anything. The gentleman can come here, please. There's a seat here. May God bless. So that can be done, and but the realized person does everything in an integrated way. In an integrated way. Like if he is in love with a married lady, immediately he cannot fall also. He cannot fall in love with a married lady. He just will not. He just doesn't do. No question of then saying, lead us not into temptation. We just don't do bad things. We just don't like it. Because you become aware, and the awareness is not rational at all. We cannot think of awareness which is not rational. Because whatever is not rational, according to us, is nonsensical, is erratical, is arbitrary, is nonsensical. But it is a sense that develops within you. It's an actual sense within you that develops. Not the way it is developed with thinking, the sense with your mind, but the sense in your organs, in your body, in your being, in your heart, that you just don't do it. This is awareness and this is collectivity. And those who cannot rise to collectivity cannot be good surgeons. And once you understand that this comes through the awakening of your spirit, then you understand all the problems of the world can only be solved if human beings become that collective being. That collective being is the spirit. And this collective being, if it is somehow awakened in our attention, then we automatically become that. Automatically we become collectively conscious. We don't have to rationalize it, just there. Means a little child will immediately say, oh, mother, see, this man has got problems. How do you know? Oh, all my fingers are burning. That person is not denounced because he is not well, whatever may be the problem. That person is not discarded, nor is told that he is good for nothing. But immediately you feel the problem as a witness of that person. And you have a power because you are collectively conscious. As you can correct within yourself, you can correct others also because you are collectively conscious. Means you have the power to correct another person, to relieve him of the pain, troubles and everything, to help him out, to cure him, to do whatever is needed just by yourself. Because at the point where you are, at the spirit point, you are one with the spirit. I would say, like, while I'm talking to you, I'm only connected with this to you. But supposing I was on a radio station, then I'm connected with many. That point of connection is the spirit. And unless and until you have achieved that point of connection, the rest of all your doings are good for nothing. Now, what is the difference between a sect and Sahaja Yoga? In Sahaja Yoga, an individual, again, we are all individuals before realization. The other day, as I told you in Easter, we are all like eggs. And that's the sign of a human being, that he's still an egg. He lives in a shell. He thinks of himself. He thinks of his family. Is good in a way. He thinks of his country. Everything good up to that point. Because he's a shell. Whatever he tries to make himself big, it's United Nations, everything you be. But that shell business will remain in you. It will be there showing results. But when you get that shell broken completely and you are a bird, you just fly out. So the day of resurrection, as I said, the day of resurrection has started. Is mentioned in the Quran many a times, much more times than about the day of doom. This is the day of resurrection, where people have to be resurrected, to be their spirits, as Christ himself has done that for us by crossing the gates of Agyachakra. Now, this is not a sect because there is nothing unreal about it, nothing unreal. There's no hypnosis, nothing. You are completely aware of what you are doing. You are aware that there is your power within yourself, and that power is flowing, and that you become that power. But that power is not of domination or overpowering anybody, but of love of God, which is doing each and every work of this world. For these flowers have come out from that. These flowers become fruit because of that. Because of that power, people conceive children. Because of that, you are born. Because of that power, you have become from amoeba to this stage. So that instinct of the mass is very much now prevalent and used in this sense. They just give a mass feeling to people that, you see, a competition is set in. First of all, in all these Western cities especially, people are conscious of their money power. So they use that also. So you pay some money. Like on a horse, you pay a certain amount. They pay for a sect. So much money I'll pay. The other says, have you paid so much? I mean, you will be surprised in the elite societies, they talk like that. Oh, these days, I'm having so much of money and I want to go and join a sect, this sect or that sect or that sect. Because a competition is set in. Anywhere you see these musicians and singers when they sing, actually it was all maneuvered. It was all maneuvered in the beginning that they get hold of some people who are weak-minded, who do not know their willpower. So, to overpower them and use that instinct, that subconscious instinct in them, to excite them. And once they are excited, they all go mad, and they become hysterical. And that hysteria is used today out and out by all the sects. And that's why people are so crazy. If you look at them, you can't believe they're anywhere near God. How can they be? They all look crazy, possessed, mad people. But this collectivity is to be understood in its all dimensions in Sahaja Yoga. This is the second task of Sahaja Yoga, which is more difficult than the first one. To give realization is not at all difficult, because it's a natural thing, it is within you, the time has come, the blossom time is there, you get realization without much difficulty. If not in one sitting, in second sitting you'll get it, no doubt. But to establish you as a collective cell of the whole is a very difficult thing. And unless and until you are that, you are thrown out of the whole. If you don't become aware of it, you are just thrown out. Now, collectivity in Sahaja Yoga does not mean that you wear some kind of dresses, all of you wearing same kind of dresses, or doing the same type of thing, or jumping, or any such thing which has no sensible logic in it. It is the collectivity that you feel within yourself, that nearness you feel, not emotionally. Also, I would say, people think it's an emotional attachment to people. It's not emotionally also. It is beyond emotions, it is beyond thought, it is the spirit. Because everybody has got this spirit in them. Only thing, you have to become the spirit. Now, anything you see, even we can say going to a temple. Now in India, ladies are busy dressing up if they have to go to temple. They'll find out what sari she's wearing, what sari am I going to wear. Like we do it in the churches also. We go there with our best dresses, just watching what dress she has worn. Then we come out of the church, directly we ask a question, where did you get this one? You see. So the whole attention is on a social contact, a social mass feeling within ourselves. So we are not individuals at all at that time, not at all. First we have to be absolute individuals. And then you become a complete, aware part of the whole. But if you are not an individual, say that's why people who belong to these sects or belong to some sort of a commitment or to an organized place, they find it difficult. Because they are not yet prepared to accept that individual jump into the whole. If the whole of it comes, well and good. If the whole doesn't come, they are sticking on to it. Though it can be very superficial also. Like you see in England is a custom to put the fork and spoon in a particular way. In France it is different. In somewhere it is different. Now even that can be a club forming stuff for us. Because you see, we are Americans, will put it this way, we are English, we'll put it this way, if you are French, we'll put it this way. But it is such a superficial sort of a thing, and if you go into it, it's all superficial. All our clubbing is superficial. Now, if you start getting after it and reacting against it, then you are destroying yourself. You are completely destroyed. There is no need to destroy anything like that. But to be understanding that this is superficial, nothing, you should not waste your energy in fighting any one of these. There is no need to fight anything to get out of it. There is no need to fight any such thing. What happens that by fighting, you lose your energy for nothing at all. On the contrary, you should understand that all these things are artificial and you should wait for a moment when you get the reality. But if you fight them also, there's a problem. If you don't fight them and you become one, there's a problem. So both things are energy sapping. We go on thinking about it. Where do we reach? We reach nowhere. So Sahaja Yoga is a system which is the system of the nature. It is not a system of human beings which is artificial or an organization or a mass movement, nothing of the kind. It is the system of the nature itself, which has made you a human being, an individual, now like an egg. Now this individual has to become not the mass, which is an animal instinct, but to become collectively conscious. Has to become. Is a consciousness. Means on the central nervous system you feel that consciousness. And that is what is the reality. We go about into anything understanding that this is right, that is right, is all mental. If you understand everything, whatever is mentally available, you are still in the shell. But what you feel is the point. What you feel on your central nervous system is your real consciousness. The rest of it is your mental activities, imagination, and whatever is mental is man-made. It has no meaning. Like we have written books after books, I don't know how many energies have been wasted in doing all sorts of things. Books after books have written about this, that, all kinds of yarns and yarns of, I should say, imaginary wanderings about things. But that's not the thing, you see. It's within yourself. That's within yourself. Your own spirit resides there in your heart. Is your own power, which you should get. And if you can feel that power, then you will be amazed that you don't have to have any United Nations organization and all that. You really enter into the kingdom of God in the sense that you get that power of love, which makes you extremely loving, sweet, I should say magnetic, extremely gentle, and also could be very powerful if it comes to use of power. It's extremely powerful. In your behavior, you become an extremely attractive person in the sense that you do not give trouble to others. You do not, on the contrary, you are a troubleshooter, I should say. You are a person who is a peacemaker. Wherever you stand, you create peace and happiness. But this is still outward. Inside, you are so tranquil and blissful. And the highest above is that you are so connected that even verbally, if you ask any question, is there God? You start getting great vibrations. The rapport is established. You can see the rapport is now established. You can talk to God. It's easy to say that there is no God. It's very good because then we have no headaches, people think. But all the headaches come because of this kind of a belief also that there is no God. And also there will be headaches if you believe that there is God without knowing. Both things, according to me, are still the two sides of a pendulum. It is not in the center. Or we can say, this is how we go to the right and to the left, but do not ascend. For the ascent, this actual thing, this living thing, this germination has to take place. And that is why Sahaja Yoga transcends all these nonsensical sects. Absolutely.
साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।